Well, hello, everyone, and welcome here to Bedford. Nick Anastas, Coach Chris Cameron with you. It's another edition, another season of FNL Lacrosse presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Over the next 90 or so minutes, 4 live interviews and a full season preview for both boys and girls on the eve of the 2023 NHLA lacrosse season. Chad Vischer will join us. The two-time defending champion Portsmouth Clippers are in action tomorrow night on this channel when they host Winnicott. Coach will join us at about 6:20 Eastern live on the phone. His opponent, Winnicott, and their head coach, Pat Snow, is ready to join us at 6:40. So Coach Vischer, Coach Snow to wrap up the first hour. Then we transition towards the players with our Tomahawk Player of the Weeks. Tomahawk Players of the Week. On the boys' side, Gavin Lechner, slated for 7 o'clock. The Exeter senior on his way to Wesleyan University. And then at 7:15, Tess Prunier, one of the best players in the state for Bishop Guertin, on her way to Holy Cross. So Coach Vischer, Coach Snow, Gavin Lechner of Exeter, Tess Prunier of BG in that order. But, Coach, as we always do, we open up with a look ahead at the slate. And it's a busy week, really, right off the bat. First of all, how are you, Coach?
Good. Looking forward to a great spring season. And today's weather certainly sends the message that lacrosse is here. Yeah,
and it's going to be nice all week, from what I understand.
It's going to heat up, yeah.
We couldn't ask for a better weather situation. But as a longtime now head coach, obviously, at Bishop Guertin and with the New Hampshire Tomahawks, this is the most exciting time of the season, right, for players and coaches alike?
It is. I told our players that, you could just see they've had enough of practice. They're ready to play. And when we won the championship back on June 12th, I said championships aren't won in June. They're won in the offseason. And our guys did a good job of that, getting ready, where they played in the summer, they played in the fall, they played in the winter, and they're chomping at the bit to play Hingham. And we're not the only program that's ready to play. I mean, programs throughout the state are gearing up, and it's go time.
Yeah, we'll, again, preview the Portsmouth-Winnicott matchup coming up in a little bit with both those head coaches, and we'll take a look at the D2 landscape in just a moment. But let's start with your club, Coach. BG, the king of the mountain yet again after a victory over Exeter for the second straight year in that aforementioned championship game last year. You guys bring back a lot, particularly at midfield. Give me a breakdown here of the roster for the Cardinals.
Yeah, so we have we got players for days in the center of the field where we can run. I could run 3 midfield lines. We could run 6 D middies. So we kind of have to settle on who's the best 6 and who's the best 3 or 4 D middies. So our top 5 returning All-Americans: Connor Bouvier, who's going to Holy Cross; Tim Kiley, who's going to Sacred Heart; and you have Connor Gabord, who's going to Army. Certainly could have been an All-American last year. Those 3 are our first line. And the second line, Caleb Young, who's going to Stony Brook. And then at attack, we got Brady Dumont, lefty attack, and lefty shooter going to Villanova, and Aiden Lorendo, an attackman, going to Merrimack. And then throw in Jacob Karen, who's an attackman, going to St. Anselm. So we have a lot of, like, our 6 guys, our first 6 that we put out there, are going to be very, very good.
And all of them saw action, a lot of action last year.
All those guys played last year. They all played. And then, the second line, we got, we probably have 5 guys competing for those 3 spots on that second line. Michael Matiszewski, Connor Hughes, Micah Dunsmore.
And then in net, obviously, you're deep yet again.
We are. I mean, it's tough. Last year, it was tough to handle at times because we had all 4 are back. All 4. We have 2 players that committed D1 already. We have Zach Connery, who's going to VMI, and Will Murphy going to Bryant. Zach's the senior captain. He was the goalie for the state championship in 21 and 22.
And is the presumed starter?
He's presumed starter. Him and Will Murphy are neck and neck, so they're both gonna, they're gonna split time on Wednesday versus Hingham. And Liam Connerty is one of the top. Probably 5 goalies in the country in the 24 class. So, I mean, he's really good. And then Michael McDonough, any of those kids, I told them probably out of my 20 years, 15 of those years, you would all be starters, and we'd have confidence in any of you. So it's just finding that balance between, we're going to play 2 and then find out who the 2 is and then find out eventually who the 1 is. The 2 goalie system can work, but it doesn't always work. You kind of got to settle in on 1. So we're very good there. The 1, for us, losing J.J. Murphy, to me, I thought J.J. Murphy was the offensive player of the year last year, but he did not get it. As I say that, I can't think of who did get
just because of that instant.
Oh, he gave us
offense
in the championship. He won 21 out of 22, faceoffs, and he just gave us the ball all day long.
He's now at Bryant. Obviously.
He's now at Bryant.
Yep.
He's not seeing any time he took a redshirt year because Nate Liberty, who is Tomahawk, Pinkerton, is having a fantastic season. So JJ is behind him, but so our guys are Noah Zeman, who's worked hard as senior, going to Riviera, and then Paulo Vasquez, who's one of the top sophomores in the country. So we have 2 guys there. It's going to be tough. We said we're not asking you to be JJ, but we just want you to compete.
Right.
So we have those guys.
And you got Hingham on Wednesday, right?
Yes.
So your club is off tomorrow, although it's officially opening day. You'll take action on Wednesday against a top 5 Massachusetts team. And as we talked off air, you loaded up the schedule again with some cross-border rivalries from the Bay State, right?
Yeah, this is without a doubt our top out-of-state schedule slate we've ever had. It was interesting, the dynamic. We owed a game to LaSalle, but they couldn't make it work, so they dropped us, and we picked up Archbishop Stepanak from White Plains, New York. They're coming up to play us. I used to have to beg, borrow, and steal to get teams, to play us, and we would always have to travel to them. So now we had Albany Academy come scrimmage us, and then now we have Stepanak coming to us, but we also have St. John's Prep coming to us, BC High coming to us. St. John's Prep is the 2-time defending champ. BC High is coming to us. One other team is coming to us. Hingham, those 3. We're playing Staples. They were ranked the #1 public school in the country last year. So we're playing them at Providence College, and then we're at Acton Boxborough. So it's
loaded.
It is.
It's loaded, and we'll see your team, of course, on our Friday Night Lights game of the week at some point, points plural, coming up this season. Let's look at tomorrow's slate. We've got Exeter at Londonderry in Division I on the boys' side. South at Merrimack. North and Timberland actually played today. That was a lopsided win for the Owls of Division II, 18-3. And then Central at Pinkerton. Where do you want to start? Am I missing anything there? Or
yes, I guess we could start,
appealing?
with South. Obviously, the passing of Bill Monson, who was a longtime, coach. Everyone's thoughts are going to be with him throughout the course of the year. I mean, he was a great football coach at South and a great lacrosse coach, as well. So, him not being with us, but Will Delanoy is going to be the new coach at South. They lost a lot. But they have a lot of talent on defense. Severin Johnson's kind of, they could throw D guys out, led by him, but they don't have Ethan Johnson. They have Jacob Lynn, who's a sophomore, very talented goalie, but he's not going to be Ethan, who was the defensive player of the year. So we start with them. Londonderry. Is it South playing Londonderry? You said? Oh no. South.
Exeter is at Londonderry.
Exeter is at Londonderry. Okay.
South is at Merrimack.
South's at Merrimack. So Merrimack, coached by Brian Miller. There's a lot of great coaches in D1. He's a very good coach. And
his name was being thrown around for Coach of the Year with the job he did with that group last year.
Yeah,
right?
he was excellent. He had lost 17 seniors.
That's a lot.
So they got some guys like Joey Lawrence back. He's got four goalies too. That he's got a lot of depth in the goal. Ryan Resendez. He's got some players. They're just not going to be as deep as they were last year, but they're very good. I would say, we talked about Will Delanoy. One of the biggest coaching changes is at Londonderry. Dave Wiedenfeld takes over for Roger Sampson. Dave was a great player for Londonderry.
Not too long ago either. Right?
No, he's young. He's probably 2000. He's
early
25.
20s.
25. Yeah. Great. He's coaches for me at Tomahawks. He's a terrific coach, high energy, high knowledge. He's putting the time in, cares. He came to watch the kids play on Sundays all the time. It's going to take him time. You're not going to see that on day one because he's had these kids. He's got a lot of hockey kids, so it takes him. It's going to take. You'll see a different team that in May than you might see tomorrow versus Exeter, because he's got a good staff around him. He's got energy. It's a lot like at Bedford with Drew Bordeaux. Is another coaching change.
Right.
Drew Bordeaux was an assistant. Drew was a standout player at St. Anselm. He's the voice of. He does some. He's on the
broadcast unit now. Yeah.
So he's
part of the team.
So he's a defensive guy. He coached our top team with Brian this summer, and he brings the energy, and the kids love playing for him. So you're gonna see that. You're gonna see a team with just buzzing, flying all over the field.
What about that roster?
So that roster, they lost Matt Desmond in goal, but they have Ian Fletcher, who's a senior, very very, I guess, untested but talented, and then you have a freshman, Ethan Kahn, who's very talented. But that was at the youth level, so there's a big difference. So they have two options there. Both kids are very good, but defensively is where they're good. They have guys for days. Some of the football guys that won the state championship. You have Hendrickson, Kevin Sheridan, probably missing a few guys. You got Brian Riccio, who's an LSM. And I'm missing.
And those two first names are pretty big kids, right? 6'4", 6'5".
Those guys are 6'4", 6'5", and Tristan Kerr's the best of those three. And then Riccio is a very good LSM. So I mean, they're going to put out, and they have some other polls that they're going to throw out there. They have Toscano at midfield. They have Zach Griffin at midfield. They have guys, just don't know how many offensive guys. You know, do they have a lefty attackman? You know, what are they going to do with that? They have Luke Purnell at attack with Derek Kaliza. Yep. So they have a lot of talent there, and then probably the best freshman in the state, Coach Matthews' son, Bennett Matthews. He's a very talented midfielder, one of the best players in New England. So they, and then Brody Helton is another player that is a plays pole for us. I mean, he's going to be a highly, recruited player in a few years. But for Bedford, they have so many polls, he's going to probably play short stick. I don't know. I haven't seen them yet, but I wouldn't be surprised. So they have size, athleticism, and toughness. So you're going to see them be very much improved. You know, so tomorrow they play Concord, right?
They host Concord tomorrow night.
Yeah, so
7:15.
And Jeff Smith, he's got some guys. He's got some hockey guys.
They won some games last year.
They did. They did, and he always coaches them up. He puts them he gives them a chance to succeed, a chance to win. They also have a great freshman in Carter. Darty, who's a lefty, smooth attack. You're going to see him ringing up a lot of points as a freshman. And I don't know their roster that well, but they do have some guys back, and they have some talent. So that'll be a good game versus Bedford.
And then what about Pinkerton? Right, your old rival, still considered a contender, with the Astros slated to open up the season tomorrow night at home against Manchester Central. What do we know about Pinkerton?
Yeah, so Manchester, they call them the Kings, but they got a tough week because they open up at Pinkerton and then they play us on Friday. But they have 50 kids out for the program, which is great
for Central.
Wow. They're combined. You know, they have Memorial, Central, and West.
Right.
When those teams back in my early on 2004, West had all the Bedford kids, so they were able to compete right away. And then Central had
a lot of Hooksett kids. Right?
A lot of Tim Brown, who ran the Manchester PAL program, ran a great program. So they were feeding Coach Lawson, who's now the head coach at Pembroke, but they had kids, and they were competing right away. Vinny Peroni, who's one of the top officials in the state, his son Mark Peroni was on that team. They had players that went D1. I can't think of the brothers that played defense. Oh, Malcolm Sutton.
Okay.
Marcus. So they had guys. The team's not like it was then, but they have 50 guys. So they're going to have a JV team, and they have a lot of alumni coming back. Marcus Sutton is coaching. Brendan McMasters is coaching. So they have. So it's going to be a program that it's going to be good. But they do play Pinkerton. So Pinkerton coach Gaudreau, who is a high-level top coach. He doesn't have the Roy Tereski ran the Derry program, Marty Ogier ran the Hampstead program, and their kids left. So those guys kind of stepped away from the youth program. So they're not feeding Pinkerton like they used to feed, but they're still they still have players. And Steve's an excellent coach. The Hooksett kids, they can go to Pinkerton or they can go play for Coach Wiedenfeld at Londonderry. So I don't know which way those kids are going, but so this Pinkerton team, on defense, you got Cam Leeds, who's one of the top. He's going to St. Joe's in Maine. He's one of the top deep holes in the state, and they have two goalies that are excellent. And of course, the names will come to me. I don't have it in front of me right now, but they had two goalies and they have a third goalie.
Michaud was one of them, right?
Curtis Michaud, and then.
But that's a team, Coach, that seemed to fit the bill of a team that improved noticeably.
They did
last year with Pinkerton between the start and the end of the year.
During the season, we handled them. I mean, it was a mercy rule. I think we were up I think it was 15-2.
And South knocked them off early too.
South beat them, but then that was like a rally cry. And I knew once that happened, Steve, you could go one of ways. This season could have just been, all right, this is not our year, and they go away. Steve rallied, got them better and better after that point.
They responded, right?
And they gave us all we can handle in the semifinal because they have goalies, they have Joey Gallo, Ryan Lynch, Matt Fioli. So they have
those guys have been there for a long time.
And then Michael Uber. So they have guys. I mean, they have polls. Brandon Carney, another player who's one of the top. He'll be the top freshman poll in the state. So they have guys.
Bring a lot back too. It seems.
And
like.
they're going to battle Exeter. For that.
Somewhere in the playoffs.
Somewhere in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, so those two teams are 2-3, and then you have Bedford. I think is a clear 4. Who's going to be trying to push Bedford for that 4th spot? Is it He's at Londonderry, he's at Concord. Joe Marshallina with New Hampshire High School Sports, he put out his 8 playoff teams. And he put out his offensive defensive player of the year, Colin Rourke. I agree with that. He's one of our guys going to Hofstra. And then he chose Gavin Lechner, who we have on later, for the offensive player of the year. But they, it's after that, though, it does drop off because it's a 12-team division. So, you have North, you saw got handled today.
Interesting to see what that middle ground looks like as the season goes.
Who's going to be, because you have Salem, who's going to be, I think Salem's going to be solid.
Somebody's got an opportunity there.
There's opportunities
to
step up. And then we said, talked about North, but Jack Peters is one of the top players in the whole state. We saw him on the football field. Right? He's going to UMass Amherst. Does he have enough around him, to compete or get better?
Right.
They're not going to. Can they make a playoff push? Probably not. But.
All right. We'll save the ladies for hour number 2. Okay. We'll talk to Tess Prunier of Bishop Guertin and soon to be Holy Cross at about 7:15. We got Gavin Lechner, as you mentioned, coach of Exeter, coming up at 7 o'clock. But next, we'll switch our attention to Division II on the boys' side, including our season-opening matchup tomorrow night between Winnicott and Portsmouth. We'll get the Clipper point of view from head coach Chad Vischer coming up next as they look for the three-peat in the Port City. You are watching FNL Lacrosse. It's presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another athletic program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
Back here with Coach Chris Cameron. I'm Nick Anastas. This is FNL Lacrosse presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. We've got Pat Snow of Winnicott coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Gavin Lechner will kick off hour number 2, the Exeter senior headed to Wesleyan University. And then we switch gears with Tess Prunier of Bishop Guertin to discuss the upcoming girls lacrosse campaign. Big week tomorrow, opening day Tuesday statewide. In fact, some games got an early jump today, including on the girls' side, Pinkerton at Portsmouth. And earlier today on the boys' front, Timberlane knocked off North 18-3. Let's get a full Division II preview right now with Chad Vischer, the head coach of the two-time defending Division II champion Portsmouth Clippers, old friend of the show, back and ready to roll. Coach, how are you?
Hey guys, how you doing? Doing great, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
We appreciate it. I asked Coach Cameron if this was the most exciting time of the season, not just for the players, but for the coaches as well. He said it was. You agree with that, Coach? I mean, a lot has gone in over the last few months. The off-season seems to get more and more complex every year, but it's all funneled towards this week in the opener, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, having something to focus on is great for the guys and for the coaching staff. But from a head coaching position, it's really nice to get all the administrative things taken care of. The getting your rosters together, getting the uniforms handed out, making sure everybody's got their medical physicals. All those things are time draining, and they take a lot of time to get going on here. So real nice to get that out of the way. Now we can start focusing on just X's and O's and playing lacrosse and getting better throughout the year. Obviously an early test tomorrow, but really the focus is to try to hit our peak come more May, June-ish.
Yeah. And, Coach, obviously your own personal schedule is already pretty packed. You and I talked off air about how you're a pilot. You make some of these trips down to other cities in the country, come back in time for practice of the game or whatever it is. Yeah. How does this, I guess, next 9, 10, 12 weeks, whatever it is, really impact your schedule on a personal note?
Yeah, you know, it makes for a busy spring. I'm fortunate. I'm a pilot for JetBlue. I went to school for flying, kind of equivalent to the maritime schools. I went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University and ran the lacrosse club down there and started up, which is now a D2 program. It's fun to see the progression of that over the years. But I have the seniority at work to where I can basically work morning trips. I drive into work early in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, fly to D.C., fly to Buffalo, something along those lines, and then come back. I just came over here to the high school. I just finished coaching my girls' 7th and 8th grade lacrosse team. So I coach them from about 4 to 6, and then we coach over here at the high school from 6 to 8. Fortunately, with the work aspect of things, I don't have to fly every day. I fly probably about 3 days a week. So I try to juggle that around. Sometimes I pick up a trip Sunday nights after my girls' games. Makes for a hectic schedule, but keeps me busy. Give gratitude to my wife and my family for not being home a lot. I'm not home for very many dinners, and it was nice to be home yesterday, Sunday morning, Easter Sunday, and Easter night to try to spend some time with the family. Those are the ones that probably sacrifice the most. I appreciate it, but it's the family at home.
Well, Coach, you're an inspiration to us all. Every time I think I'm getting busy, I think of your schedule, 30,000 feet up in the air. All right, let's talk about this team, or more so the program. Right, you're now the two-time defending champs in Division II. You guys had come so close for years, and then broke through in 21 and defended the crown last year in 22. Are the expectations now around the program, have they altered at all? Have they risen in light of the recent success, or has it always been kind of bang, bang, business as usual moving forward with these groups?
You know, I think really, and I've said this to you guys before, it starts with the youth. It starts with the youth program and the coaches and the parents that have built up the youth and have invested the time with this youth program to where here at Portsmouth, yeah, we don't have the depth that maybe Exeter does, and certainly not with Bishop Guertin and Bedford, and those guys are the bigger schools. But there's an expectation, and I thought our senior class last year really developed that expectation, and it's been around for a while, but they really did a fantastic job of really kind of making that. Of course, we're always competing or being looked at equivalent to the girls' lacrosse game. And our girls are outside right now, outside this door, and playing Pinkerton to, last I saw, 2-2, kind of halfway through the first half. And The girls are an excellent program. I think the boys here, the athletes of the boys, we split a lot with our track program. Also, our baseball program is excellent. And those all raise the standards. And I'm real happy that we were able to break through the past couple of years. But without a doubt, I tell my guys, we've got a new wave of players this year and kind of a new group. We're not the senior-laden team that we were last year. But we can. We're fully expecting to try to compete with those top teams like Winnicott, Derryfield, Timberlane, Wyndham, STA, Goffstown. Go on the list. D2 is a deep group.
Thanks, Coach. Yes, I'm not that familiar with D2. I know that it's you guys and Derryfield, New Hampshire High School Sports came out. I don't know if you use it, but they had Derryfield at 4 and you at 5, which surprised me a little bit because I know you have one of the top face-off guys and one of the top offensive players, not just in Division II, but in the whole state. So you have Nick Smith facing off. Tell us about him, and then your midi, Zach, going to Bryant.
Yeah, those guys are great guys, and without a doubt, we're gonna rely on them heavily. And really, kind of the focus this preseason has been to try to get other guys to lift their game to where we don't have to rely on them. It's always easier to try to shut down one or two guys. Last year and the year before that, I think what made us so successful is that we were a broad ranging of talent, and we had guys, the depth that was there. So we're trying to get some guys to step up. Nick is probably one of the quicker guys on the team and really one of the quicker guys in the state. I wouldn't say pound for pound his face-off clamp, if you will, is elite, but his ground ball work and his tenacity is definitely elite, and that's what he does from a face-off X. He's very fast with the ball when he goes for the ground balls. Those guys are able to work out things like that.
And then in the middle of the field. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Zach Amen's a great player. Zach Amen is very fast, works nonstop, goes up and down the field nonstop, and he's really a very good player. Tough to stop. Energizer bunnies. We just kind of keep him running, and we're relying on him a lot. But on the other hand, as I said earlier, we're trying to build that depth. But Zach's a great player. Those two of them nonstop play together. They go outside the field before practice, after practice. They want to compete against each other. They're just like, I've always said, I said to Nick years past, they're like two puppies that just want to wrestle against each other all the time. It's kind of funny to see them do that for years.
Tell me a little bit about the backside, Coach. The goaltending, the defense. You still got Gunnar Jackson there, or has he moved on? Yeah, he's still there, right? He's an animal. So tell me about this defensive group there.
Yeah, Guns is definitely the anchor back there. Senior athlete is what I would just label Gunnar at. Is he the sexiest defenseman out there that's got crazy checks? No, but he can match feet with anybody. He'll very intelligent, does very, very well academically. He's going to go up to UNH. I'm trying to encourage him to play part of that club team up there. So he is he's great back there. Along with him and he's the captain of our team, along with Max Dieppe, who's been a 3-4 year varsity player. Max, very versatile, does face-offs, runs LSM. And then Macy Schoen is a sophomore, got some playing time last year and does a real good job. Macy's getting big. He plays for Chris in the summer, and we're really excited about him. And then we're trying to build a little bit more depth on our LSM. We're losing Max Brown last year. His little brother is in 9th grade, younger brother. I shouldn't call him little. His younger brother is Andy Brown, and he's a freshman and is catching up to the speed. He's got the skill. We got to get his legs up to that speed level, not just a 40-yard dash, but just the speed at which the game goes. Our goaltending, we lost 2 senior goalies that were great goalies and kind of anchors for us over the past couple of years. We go to a sophomore goalie, Kai Patterson. Kai is a younger brother of one of our midfielders, Baden, and Kai is ridiculously talented. And we just got to continue to get him plugged in to where he's enjoying and having fun. He makes some really, really nice saves. There again, it's just a matter of getting those guys from the JV speed up to that varsity speed. Some of the quicker releases and shots coming when he's not expecting shots and stuff. So those guys are the goaltending. We've got a senior that's jumped in that we're trying to brush off. He's a hockey player. So we're trying to build some depth in goalie, and that really kind of goes throughout our city, really. We're really trying to expand. We've had a lot of face-off kids in this city. I think starting with Cole Brahms, and everybody wants to be like Cole, and that's moved up, and we're really trying to build that goalie depth equally.
So, Coach, Cole Brahms was a 2019 Portsmouth Clipper grad, and he's one of the top 10 face-off kids in the country playing for Utah, who's ranked 16th in the country right now. So we might be able to see him in the NCAA tournament if they can close it out and win their conference. So Winnicott, we have Coach Snow coming on next. Tell us a little bit about them and what to expect tomorrow.
When we go against Winnicott, I've talked to Pat, and he and I are good friends, and we've texted, plenty of times about what we're doing. And Pat, what to expect is a crosstown rivalry. That those guys, the kids have grown up playing each other in pretty much every sport that's out there, whether they're football guys or they're, hockey guys. It's funny, they end up to be friends often when they go to the local colleges, but right now, they're competitors, and the kids want to play against each other, and it's going to be a good matchup. When you play Coach Snow's team, you're going to get a physical, strong, a lot of athletes, a lot of football players. Caleb White is an excellent attackman over on the right-hand side, and he comes out of the midfield. And they've got some other guys that's there, and their depth. They're always strong, big guys, great at ground balls. They practice on a lot of grass, and our kids get spoiled working on the turf all the day. Tomorrow, of course, will be on turf. But they're grinders. Those guys work hard, and that's what we're expecting. I imagine it's going to be a little bit of a sloppy game. I'm certain that we don't have everything that we'd like to have come June in our repertoire, and they don't either. I'm going to guess, just being early in the season. But nonetheless, gives us a good test and where we're going to be and where we have to get to against what I foresee as being one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the state, in the Division II state.
Well, we're looking forward to a good one. We had that one circled when the schedule came out, and one thing's for sure, it should be good weather tomorrow night, right, Coach? Yeah.
Right. Right. Everybody talks. Nobody realizes that between Winnicott and our field, those are the 2 coldest fields in this state. You can go all the way up to Conway, and they're nowhere near as cold. When that tide blows in and the water 35, 38 degrees is 200 yards from our field, it makes for some cold, damp fields, especially this time of year. And Winnicott's even worse, being on the grass. They're cold.
Yeah, that can be a windy breeze as well, especially when the sun goes down. So, Coach, best of luck. We'll talk again, I'm sure, at some point this season, but we'll be there tomorrow night, and we look forward to you guys taking on Winnicott at 6:30. Coach, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for coming over tomorrow. I'm sure you guys have talked about we'll get our AD to pump up some of that music, and hopefully you and Roger can hear yourselves talk, but I imagine some of their fans will come over. Yeah, it'll be a good time. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach. That's, again, Coach Chad Vischer, one of the busiest men in the business.
Jeez, I think I'm busy.
On the eve of the season, again, getting his guys ready to defend the Division II crown as they gun for a three-peat. It all starts tomorrow night against Winnicott. We are live on the Seacoast at 6:30 Eastern Time. Roger Howe will be back with me on the call. We look forward to that one, kicking off our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week schedule here in the spring of 2023. Coach, anything jump out there that Coach Vischer said?
That was a quick. It went by pretty quick because he's such a good communicator.
He's an old pro now.
Yeah, he is. I would have liked. I don't like. We talked about his non-conference schedule. I know he plays Exeter, which will be good. They lost Exeter by a goal.
10-9 last year.
And we actually taught he's got a great assistant in Coach Balter. Matt Balter. It was probably because it was nice of Coach to come on right there because it sounds like his practice schedule slotted 6 to 8. So they're out there practicing right now, and he's had time to be with us, which was appreciative. I think, what jumped out at me is the goalie situation. He lost 2 goalies, so he's got to find a goalie. He's got a face-off guy. He's got a, which starts there. But so that they'll have possession, but they might have to play a different style if they're not making saves in the back. But they do have, they have Purcell at attack, Riley Collins at attack. So they have guys. Macy Schoen's one of the top, and who was the gunner? You said it was
Gunner Jackson.
Gunner Jackson was the top.
Heck of a football player too, by the way.
So they have guys. I don't know if they have the depth they have last year or the experience. So that gap, I think, closed with Derryfield. Last year, I think it was a wide gap, and Derryfield would have had to play a perfect game to have beaten Portsmouth. Portsmouth was that good. This year, I think the gap is closed. Who's going to develop? What team's going to develop more? They play relatively early, but who's going to develop? And as he said, we want to be playing our best in May and June.
Yeah.
And I think I got confidence in Coach Vischer and Coach Balter that they're going to develop those kids. And they have enough to work with.
All right, the opponent is Winnicott. Head coach Pat Snow waiting in the wings on the other side. You are watching FNL Lacrosse. It's presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another athletic program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
It's FNL Lacrosse here, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Nick Anastas, Coach Chris Cameron, back live Monday nights, all season long here throughout the spring. We're live at 6 Eastern here from the Beals Insurance Studios. And if you miss any part of the show, don't worry. It'll be posted for free on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media, immediately after the broadcast. So you can check out all of our hard-hitting interviews anytime you like. Again, on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media. Our game of the week is tomorrow night on the Seacoast live at Portsmouth. Winnicott at Portsmouth. And we're underway. It's 6:30 tomorrow night to kick off our slate of games of the week. Coming up, the New Hampshire Tomahawks Player of the Week, Gavin Lechner of Exeter at 7 o'clock. Tess Prunier on the girls' side from Bishop Guertin at 7:15. Let's welcome in Pat Snow, the Winnicott head coach. Got the Warriors on the road tomorrow, as I mentioned, in our game of the week at Portsmouth, looking for a rivalry victory out of the gate. Coach Snow, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How about yourself?
We appreciate you coming on. It seems like your group has already started to make some headway. In the preseason, some of the scrimmages, you guys played Bedford pretty tough, jumped out to an early lead there against the Bulldogs, and now, of course, one way or the other, you'll be in the headlines tomorrow night at Portsmouth. On the eve of the season, Coach, you pretty confident with this group? What kind of a team do you and your staff have on your hands here?
Well, starting on offense, I have a lot of kids back from last year, a good core of my offense, led by Caleb White, Antonio Franciosa, Ryan Cholfi, Tanya Zolkowski. We had a lot of guys back that played the whole season last year. And on the other side, we're a little green. We graduated our entire defense, both short stick, D middies, 4 or 5 poles, a goalie. So we've been trying to get those guys up to speed. They had most of them were on the JV team last year and had a really great season. So we're hopefully going to ride on that success. And we certainly have a tough schedule out of the gate here with Portsmouth starting tomorrow and Derryfield the end of the week. But we're eager to get going. We try to test ourselves in the preseason here with Bedford and York with scrimmages and learned a lot on the film. But we're a work in progress, and much like a lot of teams, we're just going to be looking to get better each week.
And Coach, I'd imagine it speaks a lot to your program as well when you can graduate a certain amount of guys at a position and then kind of plug those holes internally with the next man up mentality, so to speak. Is if they are able to make that transition and be successful, would that be a statement kind of reassuring your growth as a program, so to speak?
Yeah, I think so. We've been a perennial playoff team. We've only been to one title game. We came up short in that one, but our goal is always to take one week at a time. But we always circle the postseason. We want to try to do our best to make it there and see how we do. But our numbers are a little down this year. We're a pretty small JV team. We're hoping to get things back up next year. I know I have a big 8th grade class, and our youth program's really kind of booming right now. So hopefully we, our continued success will continue to grow the game on the Seacoast. We're not known for, a ton of club players. We have a few. A lot of my guys are just 3-sport athletes that, happen to pick up a lacrosse stick in March and kind of figure it out. So that's kind of been our identity for a long time. And I see it continuing that way, but we're definitely looking to get more kids out and grow the program.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, Coach. It seems like the youth program has, not just this season, as you said, but in recent years past anyway, have given your program at the high school level a nice boost of talent, right? I mean, what's the key there between maintaining kind of that open relationship with the guys who run the youth program out there on the Seacoast so that everybody's on the same page? Is there any trick to that? Has there been kind of a push at the youth level in terms of numbers lately, or what exactly is going on further down the pipeline?
It's certainly something we're working on. We got a ways to go. But recently we've been starting to do a community night where we have all the youth players come, and my players run a couple practices. The youth players come in right after us now at the high school and are practicing at the high school, so we get to see them, and I can poke my head over at practice from time to time. But they're those guys are doing a great job down there. They're teaching the kids fundamentals, all the stuff that we want them to learn as they come up to high school. So they've been a nice little feeder program, and it's definitely grown.
So, Coach, thanks for coming on, and best of luck this season. So, as you mentioned, you don't have a lot of club players, so I'm not that familiar with your roster. Going into this week, playing the Iron right away. I mean, what are you looking, to get out of this week? And are you playing what kind of game? Are we looking for a game that's going to be? Sometimes is it a 7-6 game you're looking to play, or are you looking to run and gun and get this game up in the 18-16 type game?
Yeah, well, Portsmouth certainly has plenty of firepower. With Nick Smith, it's going to be challenging to win any faceoffs. He was like 90%, I think, in the state championship last year against Logan, which, Logan's a heck of a face-off guy too. So that, that creates some problems right off the bat. So we're prepared to play some defense, do our best to slow these high-powered teams down. And hopefully we can get the ball in the offensive end and rely on our experience down there and take advantage of our possessions and, capitalize on our possessions, I guess. But we always pride ourselves on our defense. I think it's the most important thing for our guys to kind of stick together, understand that, it's not always going to be perfect. We're really focused on us, this first week, and not so concerned about, how many goals for or against, but that we're playing competitive and we're being physical on defense and trying to do all the fundamental things correct. I think the goals will come if we can manage to get the ball into our end. Battling a tough face-off guy these first two games, it's going to certainly battle test a new defense, and hopefully they can come up with some stops. We got a new goalie in net who's done a great job in the preseason here, so we're hoping he stays consistent throughout these first couple of games, and we can keep his confidence up.
So you mentioned defense a lot. So without giving away any secrets, not going to put you on the spot, but so Coach is known for having a great zone through the years, like a very well coached zone that he puts in. So we're going to have to see. That's something that we might see tomorrow night. But best of luck this week, because that's the scheduling gods kind of went at you right away.
I don't know who I made so angry.
Well, you can start, I guess, with the AD, right, Mr.
Yeah. Well, baseball guys, they don't get it.
They just kind of said, "Here you go, Coach."
Coach, one final question here on kind of a lighter note. What kind of a group do you have here? I mean, forget about the skill sets and what they can do between the lines, but how are they away from the game? Is it a fun group to coach? What kind of personalities make up this locker room here in 23?
They're just a really great group of kids. I'm usually completely lost my voice at 2 weeks into the season or 3 weeks in, wherever we're at now. They don't require me to, get on them too much. They always come out to practice energized. They work together. They do a great job of self-managing themselves. So I'm hoping that translates into our games. And, when we face adversity, that, my seniors can kind of lead the group and help them along, through tough situations. So they do a nice job of that. That's going to be the theme of our team all year, is kind of stick together through the good and bad. And hopefully that translates into some good stuff for lacrosse. But they're a great group. Again, we're senior heavy again this year, except on the, it's on the other side of the ball. But they do a great job. My seniors, they're all very bright kids, and most of them are very strong in the classroom too. So all those things do translate well into the self-managing of the team.
And then, of course, the whole grass versus turf debate, right, Coach? You guys ever practice on turf just as a precaution to get the guys kind of used to it, or is that all overrated?
Yeah, we not intentionally for the turf games, but the first week of preseason, we usually book some time at Seacoast United in Epping when we get on their fields in the afternoon. This year, it just so happened to work out. We got 3 or 4 practices in over there, and our first 2 games were on turf. So
there you go.
Our grass fields are in really good shape. We don't have to deal with like the crazy bounces and the ball going all sideways. Our maintenance guys do a really nice job. It's usually mowed really short too, so it's as close to a turf surface, I guess, as you can get on grass. But we love getting the chance to play on turf. But we're very proud of our grass field too, and it's a great little stadium we get over there.
Well, Coach, good luck tomorrow night. We know one way or the other, win or lose, it's going to be an exciting rivalry matchup with you guys in Portsmouth. So thanks for coming on. And again, good luck tomorrow night, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Head coach Pat Snow, now a long-time head man over there with Winnicott, and seemingly like everybody else, Coach, on the eve of the season, not quite sure what he's got. He knows he's got some guys coming back on attack, a lot of question marks defensively, but as a head coach, how do you use that first week to gouge your team here? Do you put a lot of stock in the results of the first couple of games, or is it more about kind of seeing what you have?
Well, that's what I kind of asked him. I said, what are you trying to get out of this? Are you I mean, expectations are so key, because I remember Sue Thomas with Bedford basketball. I mean, she went in like, we're going to beat Bedford, we're going to beat BG, and they lost by 35. And then there was like all hell broke loose, So, yeah, I mean, so Coach, coming in, I mean, he's going against 2 really good teams. I mean, the 4th and 5th best team in the state, being Derryfield. And
bang, right?
Bang, bang.
Right off the bat.
So I think he's a professional as a coach, so I think he's going to manage those expectations. He didn't really, he's going to go in and try to win, but I think he just, as he said, he wants to compete. He wants to compete, learn about himself from this game, get these games out of the way, get better from them, and try to close the gap. I don't want to. I think it's going to be a tough matchup for him right out of the gate. With Nick Smith winning faceoffs all day long, he's young on defense, so I'm expecting. I kind of threw it out there. I'm expecting he's going to play a lot of zone. The problem when you play zone and you lose faceoffs, Portland's going to have the ball all day long. So how do you got to pick your poison a little bit, and then you go to Derryfield, and I didn't realize he said that Nick Smith won 90% of the faceoffs in the state championship. You called the game. I didn't know it was that bad. I thought it might have been.
To go back to the tape, but
I thought it was a little bit closer.
It was an advantage, though.
It was definitely an advantage, yeah.
Right.
So that's what he's going to be up against. So I think he's going to go in with. I think he's approaching it the right way. He's not going in saying, "Got to win these games." Right, got to win these games. I think he knows he's the underdog in both these games, and then he's going to try to get better from it going forward. And
we've touched on now both Portsmouth and Winnicott in Division II, but as we know, yet again, D2 is a very deep division on the boys' side. Who are the other contenders?
See, I don't know how deep it is. That's what, I think it's those two, and then there's a drop.
And then there's a gap. Okay.
I think there's a gap. I think I think Wyndham was a Final Four team. They lost Alex Ryan. They lost a lot. So, Goffstown was losing to Alvern today. Goffstown's going to be down. Alvern's going to be a much improved team. You watch them; they got some lacrosse players. They got the Hall brothers, who were great basketball players.
Right.
Connor Hall, who's going to UNE. They got Joey there. They have a good goalie in Aiden Kelly. So I think Alvern's good, but can they beat Derryfield or Portsmouth? No. I'm probably missing someone in that group, but I don't think.
I'll pull up Joe's rankings here in a minute.
Yeah, I think he had Winnicott at 10. Timberlane. So Timberlane's probably the, Kenny Blaska is he's up there with with Coach Etler and Coach Bolter and Coach Vischer. So they're very well coached.
The last couple of years they've been very successful.
And they play tough. So Winnicott, that's the other thing. They're going to go in there. They're going to look to play tough, trying to smack them in the face, because they don't have a lot of kids that play clubs. So their skill level's not going to be at the level of those teams. But they're going to try. They have athletes that play other sports, and their
right.
football team's been good for years. Basketball, they're always so he's recruiting athletes.
And St. Thomas, of course.
Oh, St. Thomas
in that mix as well.
So St. Thomas is going to be in that second tier with a Winnicott, with Timberlane. Who can get in that mix and maybe pull off an upset versus Derryfield and Portsmouth. I do think that Derryfield has closed the gap. Is it enough to because Portsmouth, they're legit. They would compete. They would have been obviously they lost to Exeter by a goal. So so they could have, they would have been.
They would have been a playoff team in D1.
A Final Four team in Division I. So I just don't know if they have what kind of depth there is outside of that, because Keene, so Hegan's in Division II. They're very well coached, but I just don't think that they are very deep. But I think that is a team that
could be a reload year for the Sabres.
We could watch the Sabres in that mix. But I do think St. Thomas could be, will be improved. So those are the teams. I'm probably missing somebody. Bill Lawson, who we mentioned earlier, who was a longtime Central coach, was at Goffstown, now is at Pembroke. I spoke with him. He's pleasantly surprised that with him, it's the athleticism that amazed him the most. Yeah. So there's a lot of athletes.
But even so, we just rattled off 5, 6, 7 teams.
So there's maybe a little more. In Division I, you got the top 4, including Bedford, and then Londonderry, and then Concord, and then there's a big drop off. Who's going to be fighting for that?
But a little more depth maybe in D2.
And D2 has a little more depth going down. Yes.
All right, we will speak with Gavin Lechner coming up here as we kick off hour number 2 in just a moment. The Exeter senior trying to guide the Blue Hawks back to another state championship game appearance. We'll talk about his decision to go to Wesleyan University as well. And then Tess Prunier at 7:15 as we welcome in both of our Tomahawk Players of the Week in hour number 2 on the other side of the break. You are watching FNL Lacrosse. It's presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471 888-848-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another athletic program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
Hour number one in the books, hour number two on the way. It's FNL Lacrosse. It's presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Nick Anastas, Coach Chris Cameron of the Tomahawks and of Bishop Guertin. Speaking of the Cardinals, we've got Tess Prunier coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Tess, the senior, now headed to Holy Cross. We'll preview the girls in their opener at Salhegan tomorrow with Tess. Right now, Gavin Lechner is our Tomahawk Player of the Week on the boys' side, the Exeter senior, on his way to Wesleyan, taking some time to join us tonight. And Gavin, there he is. How are you, sir? Appreciate you coming on.
Good. How are you?
We're good. Thanks for coming on. You've been at the ground level now with this Exeter program over the last couple of years. You've seen 2 back-to-back state championship appearances. A lot of good players have come and gone. A lot of guys like yourself have gotten experience in the process and now are ready for your final campaign as well. What do you expect both personally and from your team this coming season?
For the team aspect, I'm expecting another great season from the Exeter Hawks. We definitely have talent on offense and defense and a goalie and faceoff. So I think there's no reason why we couldn't go back to another championship and hopefully win it this time. Personally, just hoping that I can help out my team in any way possible, if that's goals, assists, ground balls, or just good riding. So just hoping to help out however I can.
Over the last, 10 months, right, since the end of last season, the championship game till now, take us through the grind as a player. We've talked with coaches, we've talked with old players, but here in 2023, what does the off-season entail for not only yourself but your teammates? How involved on the lacrosse field are you in the so-called off-season?
I mean, right after the spring season ended, I hopped straight into Tomahawk, so that definitely helped me keep my stick in my hand throughout the summer. And then once that ended, just, getting together with some of my friends and some of the lacrosse players on the team, going to shoot around at PA or EHS and just trying to keep our sticks in our hands. And we have the Tomahawks Indoor League and the Hooligans Indoor League that Exeter High School participated in, and just captains practices, just trying to get the team together whenever we can just to build our chemistry up too.
And I'd imagine this began quite a while ago for you, right? Take me back to the genesis of how you became such a successful player now entering your senior year.
I mean, I started playing lacrosse at a young age. My older brother, Hayden, was actually the first one to play for our family, kind of got me into it. And I kind of bounced between soccer and lacrosse when I was younger, and lacrosse was more fun to me, and it seemed like I was better at it, so I just stuck with that and spent more time at that.
And how's your brother doing now? What's he up to?
He plays club lacrosse at UCLA, and he's loving it. He's one of the better players on the team, so he kind of has one of the leadership roles over there.
There you go. Good stuff. How about your classmates here? Another talented senior class over there at Exeter. Obviously, you lost a lot from last year, but I'd imagine you and your classmates are kind of chomping at the bit, right, to continue to carry the torch. Who are some of the other guys you rely upon, some of the other seniors, to help you lead this group?
Yeah, definitely got other seniors, like players like Gabe Albert, Ryan Guertin, Drew Hanna, that you can kind of rely on, and they're definitely going to help the team out as much as they can, and just be leaders for the team because they're upperclassmen, just helping us out.
So, Gavin, in 2020, you didn't have a freshman year, 2020, so 21 was your first year, and you got to play with your brother. You guys went to the state championship, but you had Spencer Clark, you had Connor Holly, Aiden Drunzik, and your brother. Those were the guys. Now that's changed. You got named the preseason Offensive Player of the Year by New Hampshire High School Sports. The target's going to be on your back. How are you approaching that? What's your mindset coming into the season with that?
I mean, I'm not trying to focus on it too much. Obviously, I saw it, and it's great to see getting some recognition, but just trying to play my game and just do what I do and helping out the team, scoring goals, and just helping us get wins. And losing players like Aiden Drunzik, Adam Neal is obviously going to hurt us. But we had a bunch of players last year that didn't get to see the field as much, but definitely saw them get better in practices and over this offseason that are going to come make an impact for us this year.
Yeah, so let's talk about the recruiting process a little bit. So Wesleyan, this year, what are they? Are they top 5, top 10? What's their ranking right now?
I think the beginning of the season they were 9th. I think right now they're sitting at 12th.
They're 12. Okay, yeah. So they're a team that recently won a national championship.
Right.
And you had options. When you are the level of student that you are, combined with your lacrosse playing ability, you certainly had options. So talk us through your process, and what helped you get to where you're at in order to be able to choose a university like Wesleyan, which is in the NESCAC, the New England Small College Athletic Conference. Just take us through that.
So I kind of narrowed it down to NESCAC because it was a place I wanted to get a great education while also playing great lacrosse. And I actually only toured 2 schools, Wesleyan being the second one. Me and my family went out there on our way to a Delaware tournament this summer. We stopped by, I think, Friday. Got to talk with Coach Reba, and he gave us a tour of the facility and the campus. And I could just, he was a great person, great coach, and seemed like someone I'd want to play for the next 4 years. And you could tell they had a great culture there as well. So I think I signed the following Monday. Just 3 days is where I knew I wanted to play.
Yeah, you could tell when I talked to you afterwards. You knew, like some kids are not sure, but you knew that that's where the place for you. And it's like your brother wanted a big school. He wanted Wisconsin. He wanted UCLA, but you wanted, you were happy with that, this smaller conference. And for our viewers and listeners out there, Gavin, he's big lefty. Grew into his body where he's tough to stop. I mean, he's really tough to stop, and you could play, he could play attack or he could play midfield. So that's what they loved about him. And he's got soft hands, plays hard, plays tough. So they're going to put you in where they're going to try to get their best 6 players on the field, and I think you're going to have an opportunity to play right away.
Gavin, tell me a little bit about your activities off the field. Coach and I chatting before you came on. He said you're a very bright kid, and obviously Wesleyan's a very good academic school. What are you looking to study there, and what are some of the things that you like to do in your spare time?
I'm trying to study something to do with economics or business, because I'm taking an economics course right now at high school, and it's kind of just something that I enjoy and I can see myself like pursuing, something that I'd want to do, but still a little unsure on that. And outside of school and outside of sports, kind of just like hanging out with friends. We'll play pickup basketball, or just always just doing stuff that is involved with sports or something of that kind.
Well, enjoy the last few months of being a high school student, first and foremost. And obviously, we wish you and your team success this season and good luck with your Division I schedule. And if we don't talk again, good luck next fall when you head south down to Wesleyan. We appreciate you joining us tonight, Gavin, and thank you for taking some time for us.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you. Gavin Lechner, according to Joe Marshallana, the Offensive Player of the Year, the preseason Offensive Player of the Year here, the Exeter Star, hoping to get the Blue Hawks back to the championship game for the 3rd straight year. Coach, obviously you know Gavin well from the Tomahawks, and it seems like Exeter's got a good young leader there with a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah, the 21 team had, I think it was 17 seniors, led by Spencer Clark.
Right.
Connor Holly.
It was Coach Holly's final year.
Coach Holly's final year, and they just had that what it took. You could see they had what it took.
Seemed like the stars kind of aligned for that group.
They were, they gave us everything we could handle in that state championship game. Last year, they had a bunch of missing pieces, and they still, they had a new coach. They didn't have a face-off guy, but as Gavin said, they have 2 goalies. They got Ethan Burnage. They got Ryan Tatman. Will McElroy is going to be a kid who we didn't see, surprisingly we didn't see facing off at all, because he was a freshman last year. But I think he's going to be a guy that's going to win them some faceoffs this year. That's a missing piece. Everybody's chasing Cole Frank at Pinker, but I think will be a guy that can compete. Gavin was kind of like tall and lanky, but over the course of the summer you saw it, and then during the winter he grew into that body, and he's big. I don't know if he's 6'4", 6'5", but he's a tough lefty, and it'll be kind of the trilogy with Colin Rourke, who's our top defenseman. He got the defenseman of the year. He's going to be matched up with Gavin, and Gavin, he brings leadership too. You can see he's a quiet leader. He's not like a yelling rah type guy, but he has the respect of his team. You got some guys that he mentioned. There's also Tanner Smith, who's a junior. So they have a core. And they have
that kid Smith played really well, I thought, in the championship.
Yeah, he was excellent. They asked a lot of him to take some face-offs, which is tough when you got to go all day, and they just ran out of gas.
Right.
But they have a program now where they're not just going to go away, and you could hear it from him. I mean, it's no surprise, but they want to go back to the championship. They're not going to be happy going back to the championship. They want to win the championship.
It'll be interesting to see. We'll see Exeter coming up in the next. I think we're going to see them next week, actually, when they take on Bedford in our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire game of the week. All right, 3 interviews down, 1 to go. As we switch gears on the other side, we'll talk girls lacrosse with BG's Tess Prunier. She's on her way to Holy Cross. Final interview, and we'll wrap up the show on the other side of the break. You are watching FNL Lacrosse. It's presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And do you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited, Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another athletic program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
Final segment here of FNL Lacrosse. We're live every Monday night, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Nick Anastas, Coach Cameron here from the Beals Insurance Studio. Programming note, we're on the air tomorrow with the season opener. We're on the Seacoast, big Division II clash between Winnicott and Portsmouth. That's a rivalry game. We'll get underway at about 6:30. Roger Howe and I will be on the call. We spoke with Chad Vischer, Pat Snow, and Gavin Lechner. If you missed any of those interviews, don't worry. The show will be up under the videos section on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media. Right now, we bring in the girls' Tomahawks Player of the Week. It's Tess Prunier, senior from Bishop Guertin, on her way to Holy Cross in the fall. Tess, live from Portsmouth, actually. We guys are on a scouting mission, taking in the Pinkerton at Portsmouth game. We'll test your correspondence skills. What is going on there with that game? What's the score and how much time is left?
Right now, I think Portsmouth just scored to make it 14-5. Portsmouth is winning.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, at halftime, I think it was only a 2-point game. So Portsmouth is really just pulls away in the second half here.
Good stuff.
She's got a
future.
A little future.
May have a future with us.
Journalism.
Well, welcome inside the show, Tess. Let's start a little bit with your background. Right, you've had two older brothers that played for Bishop Guertin, went on to the next level. Your older brother Nick went on to Holy Cross, same path that you've chosen, and your brother Sam ended up at Wentworth. Was this a case where your older brothers just kind of put a stick in your hand at a young age and said, follow me, or how did your love for lacrosse come about to begin with?
Yeah, definitely. It started with my brothers. My sister played too, and my whole family really been a lacrosse family since my brother started playing, and since then I fell in love with the sport. I was straight away such an amazing lacrosse community, and it's been an amazing journey from there.
And of course you've ended up on quite a successful team at the high school level. You've gotten action here the last couple of years, and now as a senior are looked upon as one of the leaders. What's it like so far, being at BG, being on this state championship winning team, being a part of that program with Coach Y? How much fun has it been? What have you learned? What's it been like the last 3 years on that lacrosse field as a BG Cardinal?
It's been amazing. Honestly, like a dream come true. I've been watching them since I was little, and so it's amazing to finally be a part of it. And especially the past few years, I got a chance to play with some of the people that I played with growing up, and so that was amazing. And this year's a little different because a lot of those people were seniors, and so it's been a really exciting challenge to work with these people.
Yeah, and that's a transition in its own right? Being kind of on the younger end of the spectrum and taking direction from the older players, and now as a senior leader having to give that same direction to the next group behind you. What has that transition been like? Has that been kind of a natural adjustment for you, or is it something you've had to kind of learn here and there moving forward?
Well, I think I've had a lot of older role models that have they've been really great examples for me, and so those leaders in my life have really shown me how to lead, and hopefully I can be a good leader for the rising upperclassmen, and I think that they have some amazing potential, and I'm really excited to see it.
All right, Tess, thanks for coming on. You're at the site of Portsmouth High School, where back in 2015, BG girls, my daughter Kristen was on the team, won the state championship. That was a great memory, seeing that field right there in the background. So you mentioned, Holy Cross. Your brother Nick was recruited to play lacrosse there, and your grandfather, Jerry Prunier, who we're going to honor this year with GP decals, was a long purple line Holy Cross alum as well. Tell us, what it's going to be like not having him in the stands for you this year.
It's going to be so different. He's always been my number one supporter from day one. He's been at every single one of my games, and not even just mine, but all my cousins, my siblings. He's always been there. It's gonna be really hard this year, but I'm thankful for the time I had with him, and I'm thankful for the time that my grandma is gonna have this season with me, and my dad, my family is just they're my biggest supporters, and I'm so thankful for them.
Yeah, we're certainly going to miss him because he was the biggest fan for. I mean, he
Top
loved
Fitness, right?
No, Jerry Prunier. No, he was it's Rob Prunier's dad. So
Rob.
So he I love seeing him at all the games. He always put a smile on my face, and he was our biggest fan. So he had some great grandkids come through the program. So tell us a little about this year's team. You lost a lot, so, and you've been, what I've seen in the offseason is a great leader for this team so far. So tell me what it's like being that leadership role with Riley Bouvier being gone, but it's not just off the field, but you're going to have to step up now, and, the great role player that you were, now you're going to have to be that star. So what's the mindset coming into the season?
Yeah, like I mentioned, it's going to be different this year, but it's a challenge that I'm really excited to tackle, especially with this group of girls that they're laughing at me over there in the stands. But um, I'm very excited to work with them, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to be a captain for them. I'm very lucky and thankful to be a part.
Tess, tell me a little bit about your decision to go to Holy Cross. Obviously, it's a very good academic school, athletically as well. Good lacrosse program down there. I'm sure all of that factored in. Your older brother, as we mentioned, went there as well. But what was it for you in your eyes that made Holy Cross stand out and ultimately be the decision for you?
Yeah, my grandfather, like we said, he went there. My brother went there, so I knew about it already. I knew that it was a great community and great academics and great lacrosse wise. And so, I mean, all those things put together, it was awesome. And so, I also have a friend on the team right now, and she's having a great experience. And when I went to visit, I just um, when I went to visit, I just felt like home to me, honestly.
And what are you looking to study?
I'm not sure what I'm going to study yet. I'm definitely going in undecided.
Which is fine, right, Coach? You
Absolutely.
can figure it out.
Great
get all the
university
time
like
you
that,
need
you
to.
got, yep.
Absolutely.
You have lots of options.
All right, well, good luck. First of all, tomorrow, you guys are kicking off the season at Sauhegan on the road. We wish you luck there against the Sabres, and we'll be calling a couple of your games this year as well, coming up later on over the next couple of weeks. So we'll be touching base, so to speak, with you and your team moving forward. But thanks for giving us the update out there on the Seacoast, and great job on the interview tonight as well, Tess. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, you.
Tess.
That's Tess Prunier, bearing the heckling from her teammates there.
Yeah, she was excellent. Like. I mean, I dropped a tough question on her, and she, you know, I should have given her. She handled it very well because grandfather was, you know, we're certainly going to miss him. As I said, we're wearing the GP decals on our helmet because he was our biggest fan for years and years. Not just lacrosse, you know, boys lacrosse, girls lacrosse, basketball, football. So, but she's, you know, very well spoken. You know, she has the respect of her team, and you know, she's going to play for Coach Belichick. Bill Belichick's daughter is the head coach of Holy Cross, and she mentioned her friend Lindsay Holt.
And what's her game, Coach, in a nutshell?
She is very skilled, high IQ, very skilled. A lot like her. I would say more like her brother Nick. Nick was a very she's a combination of athleticism and skill. She's got a complete game.
And when was Nick there at BG? About 10 years ago?
Nick was 2016.
16.
So 7 years. It feels like yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 2016. He was on that the 14-16 state championship team. 3-year starter. Excellent player. And Sam, her brother Sam was. Her sister graduated in. Wait, did I get this right? Her sister was 14, I think. 14.
Hard to keep track. With
sister was 14. Nick was 16.
Yeah.
Sam was 18.
All right, Coach. We've talked a little bit off air about what we expect on the girls' side in Division I. Kind of a three-horse race again, right? With Portsmouth coming up from Division II to kind of fit into that top tier with defending champion Bishop Guertin and last year's runner-up in Bedford. Who's that fourth team?
Well, you heard that score, 14-5, she said. They hung a little bit. Pinkerton plays a zone, so sometimes it takes teams to figure it out. But there's a gap. There's a big gap from that fourth team, whether it's, you know, you have a bunch of teams that are all
Pinkerton, Londonderry,
not close, but you have Pinkerton, Londonderry, Sauhegan, Exeter, South that are all in a group by themselves, but none of them are at the level of BG.
So which one of those four do you think
if I had to pick one to be in there, probably
Londonderry.
Kelsey Durhack is the new head coach at Londonderry, and she's outstanding. So that could get them there. They're just not deep. So
Lancers are at Exeter tomorrow. By the way, 4 o'clock.
Exeter's not there. God, if I had to pick someone to be that for, I mean, those three teams, you know, are all, and this is. BG's been dominant. I don't think BG's lost in a long time. I mean, they've won state championships, I think, going back to 19. I think 19, I mean, maybe even, I don't know who won in 18. BG won in 15, but they've won, maybe 18, I think BG won
18, 19, 21, 22. This is the closest anyone's been to them. I mean, last year BG was loaded. I mean, even in 21 where they won the state championship over Pinkerton 20-3, this year I don't even know if BG is the favorite. Bedford has Bedford's good, Portsmouth's good. I mean, it's
by the way, the
Bulldogs race.
Bulldogs open up tonight at home right now against Kennebunk, out-of-state opponent from Maine, and then right back at it tomorrow at home taking on Concord, part of a boys-girls doubleheader. So kind of interesting to see back-to-back to open up the season.
Yeah, when you schedule out-of-state games, you get them
where you can get them.
You get them where you get them, right. So that's the difficult thing with that.
Coach, what'd you learn here over the last 90 minutes? Final thoughts.
I learned we got some great student athletes in the
Always
state.
Do.
I mean,
always
Gavin
do.
and Tess were excellent, and we got some great coaches. I mean, Coach Snow, passionate coaches. Coach Vischer we've had on before, so you kind of know he's he says it like it is. He does a lot of coach talk, and what his team. He likes his team. I know that you could sense that he's got some question marks there. Winnicotte's going to be younger. Hopefully they can, for the broadcast, it's going to be hopefully they can hang around.
How many goals they can score with a lot coming back on attack.
Can they get the ball? It sounds like they have offense. What would concern me there is he said his defensive guys were on the JV team last year.
Right.
So they didn't have.
That's always a challenge.
That's a challenge.
Yep.
That's a huge move up to go from JV to varsity and not play club. So that concerns me a little bit there. But as far as the Portsmouth Pinkerton game, I'm not surprised by that 14-5 score.
Portsmouth
they're
real.
They're real. They're real.
All right. Final housekeeping note, tomorrow night on the air with our season opening day statewide. We'll be on the Seacoast for a 6:30 opening face-off between Winnicott and Portsmouth. We are live from Portsmouth High School. Roger Howe and myself on the call. We'll welcome in Ian Maluski behind the camera for the first time as well. And, of course, a reminder, we'll be back on the air a week from tonight from these studios here at the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford for another edition of FNL Lacrosse presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks next week. I want to thank you and the Tomahawks for jumping back on again. Another great show, Coach, as usual. And I want to thank our guests, Coach Vischer, Coach Snow, Gavin Lechner, and Tess Prunier for joining us tonight. This has been FNL Lacrosse presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. For Coach Cameron, our director, Ben Beals, and the executive producer, Steve Beals. My name is Nick Anastas, saying so long. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.